welcome to your 20-minute HIIT lower body intensive workout. I'm gonna get right into what we need. We're gonna need a lacrosse ball, 2 different mini bands, a light and a medium mini band, as well as a kettlebell, medium to lightweight. The first thing I want us to do is do some soft tissue work and warm up. We gotta be safe. So we're gonna take this ball, lacrosse ball, and we're gonna sit on it and work on our glute. We're gonna spend 45 seconds per side here. Concept, search for tissue that's tender, sensitive, painful, and all we're gonna do is take deep breaths on it. We can get some abduction of our knee down to the ground, bring it all the way back up. You can make small circles. Whatever you find that works best for you. Again, the goal here, provide blood flow, help fluid dynamics, and just hydrate that tissue to make sure that it's gonna operate correctly, stretch into position, fire correctly. We got some good stuff today. We're gonna be doing some variations of a squat, staggered stance squat. That's gonna be a little different for you guys. Super excited for you to try that out. We're gonna be doing split stance deadlifts today. Another way for you to really work on activating your hamstrings and your glutes and work on picking things up, but from a not so symmetrical stance, okay? Opposite side. And then we got some awesome core work with bands that's gonna be really challenging. So the structure of today, if you've never done one of these workouts, we are going to do 20 minutes of continuous movement. This counts in that 20 minutes. And we're going to do 4 movement patterns. When we finish all 4 of those exercises, we're then going to stop, just kidding, you're gonna keep going, and you're gonna continue on through the circuit and do as many rounds as you possibly can, okay? So there really isn't a rest period. If you do need rest, please stop, take the rest that you need. You know your body better than I do. Get a drink of water, obviously, and I'm also through the phone, so please be safe. But the goal is I tried to program so that you can go from one exercise to the next. Next, we're gonna take the lacrosse ball, squish it between our calf and our hamstring, and we're gonna make 10 small circles each direction with our calf. And what we're gonna do is, because we're pinching the ball in between our calf, it's gonna give us a massage there in our hamstring. Like I said, about 10 circles each direction. So I paired the exercises together so when one muscle group gets tired, we kind of move on to another muscle group. And hopefully you also get to drop your heart rate because I made it from probably hardest exercise first to easiest last. So again, the structure of today is set up so you can try to continuously work out for 20 minutes to be as efficient as possible. Because again, I want to reduce friction for you guys and have you exercise daily and not feel like it's overwhelming. Good, other way. And I hope this is fun and quick for you all and that maybe soon we'll be able to upgrade you to 30, 40, 50, an hour-long workouts. And good, you're gonna really feel this in your ankle as well. Next, I wanna take our hips through a really large range of motion. So we're gonna get into a push-up position. We're gonna do a lunged rotation. Foot comes up, reach up to the ceiling, rotate elbow down to the ground. 10 each side. I'm gonna try to bust through this pretty quickly here. Now, if this is really challenging, you either don't have the mobility to get into this position comfortably and it seems like a waste of time, or your wrists hurt and you're someone who's maybe a little bit bigger of an individual, and this is a really exhausting position to be in, put your knees down. Again, the goal of today's workout is I want you to move continuously for 20 minutes. So if that means we need to scale these exercises because they're too hard and you need to make them easier, please do so. But this is one of my favorite warm-ups. We get to really get into our hips, feel out each side. Maybe one side feels tighter than the other side. Maybe you lack thoracic rotation. Super important if you're someone who plays a sport like golf or tennis. If you want to improve that, watch the thoracic rotation protocol video under mobilities and correctives. Almost there, back leg is almost locked out so we can stretch that hip flexor out. Last one each side. And good. Okay, last thing, we're gonna take that mini band that's a medium. We're gonna step inside of it. Once we step inside of it, we're gonna spend about 45 seconds lateral band walking. I take as big a step as I can to the side, push the band apart, straight feet, knee doesn't collapse in. I think of external rotation, and again, I'm working my glutes, in charge of abduction, lifting my leg away. If we strengthen this tissue, it's gonna give us a lot more stable hips, give us more stability in the joint, let us produce more power. And as we get older, there's not many more things that are more important than hip health and stability when you're walking. Because if you fall and you break your hip or something, lifestyle is going to dramatically change and that things can go downhill quickly. So almost done with 45. I assume 45, and beautiful. All right, so let's get started with the workout. First thing we're gonna do today is gonna be a staggered stance squat. If you have a kettlebell or something that you wanna use, please, you can use it here. I'll perform with it. So if my feet being straight looks like this, I'm gonna take one foot, move it 4 inches back. Now, as I squat down, my hips are gonna wanna rotate in the direction of the back foot. That's great. I want you to do that. So there's a slight rotation as I squat down. When I stand tall, my feet are relatively straight. They're turned out 5-10 degrees. We're doing 10 reps each side. So my right leg back, 10 reps. I open up my hips, right? My knees aren't collapsing in. I try to keep a rather upright torso. I'll show you from another angle here. Okay, there's 10. From the side here, feet straight, foot back. Okay, 10 here. It's just, there are times in life, the philosophy behind why on this, there are times in life when we don't have perfect setup, right? When we're going to sit and stand, we're not thinking of the max weight we can lift and squat every moment of the day. So we don't set up perfectly. So we're just practicing in positions that sometimes we get into. And again, with light load, that's what we're supposed to do. If I was doing a max lift, I wouldn't be doing this technique and this style. Next, split stance deadlifts. We're gonna do 10 per leg. I'm gonna set up over the weight like I'm gonna pick it up with the deadlift with good form. Maintain a neutral spine, most important part. Then I'm gonna take one foot, step it back to about where the heel is, and I put all my weight on the toe of that foot. Now most of the weight is on my right leg. Stand tall, squeeze my butt and belly. Tap, stop, stand up. I don't want you guys tapping the ground and standing. I want you stopping, resetting your posture. 10 total. Shoulder blades are back and down. 5. The goal is how much weight can I put on this leg? You can hold it with both hands, the weight. If you don't have a weight, just practice this without. You can hold it with just the one hand. And 10, let me do some this way. Again, neutral spine, the most important part. I like to think of butt back. I would even do this near a wall with this foot being very close to the wall, so you can try to get feedback of how far are you pushing your butt back. Don't turn this into a squat. Okay, it's a hip hinge. I want you to feel a big stretch in your hamstring and glute as you do this. Last one. Good, okay, now we got 2 core exercises here. Now we're gonna also, our heart rate's gonna be able to come down here. We just did a couple of tough things standing. Now we get to lay down on the ground, take deep breaths. Okay, now from here, we're gonna be doing a dead bug. Every time we do a leg pressing out with the mini band, the opposite arm goes overhead. We must maintain that posterior tilt. My lower back is pushed down against the ground. If you can fit your arm under here, that means you're not in the correct tilt and you will work your lower back too much. So posterior tilt, here we go. This takes a little coordination. We're doing 10 per side here. Make sure you lock out the leg and the arm. The closer to the ground you stay, the more challenging you make it. If you need to make it easier, reach your leg up higher in the air, take the band off, whatever you need to do. But belly down to the ground, most important part here. This is an anti-extension exercise. One of the most realistic scenarios of how we use our core on a day-to-day basis. 8, almost there. 9, 10. Now we're gonna leave the band where it is. Don't take the band off. I just want you to flip over into a push-up position now, okay? Adequate tension pulled apart on this guy. We're gonna do 10 reps per side here. From a push-up, one knee up, touches my elbow, 1. Good, we're doing 10 per side. If this is too challenging, knees on the ground. Again, try to get the knee up high in the air and not keeping it down to the ground. Try to abduct it. Nice and slow, don't rush these. If this hurts your wrists, you can do it from a plank. Whatever you choose. Do not go into extension of your lower back, posterior tilt. Most important part to work your core correctly here. Last ones, and 10, beautiful. Okay, now we're restarting, folks. Let's go back to that squat. Okay, staggered stance. One foot in front of the other a little. Slight turn of the hips. I stand tall, squeeze my butt and belly. If you're someone who squats look like this and you can't keep your torso upright, we need to work on your ability to get your knee to track over your toes by working on ankle mobility, dorsiflexion specifically. So if your squats look like that, right now, have no fear, Ryan is here. We're gonna watch the ankle dorsiflexion protocol video, and we're gonna have to do that a couple of days a week to fix your mobility there. Because if we don't have correct ankle dorsiflexion, it's gonna hurt our knees because we can't have our knees travel how they're supposed to, and we start compensating in our knees and our hips. Other musculature starts working. The tissue of our calf starts getting really, really tight, probably leading to a higher likelihood of hurting your Achilles in severe scenarios. Last one. 10, okay, split stance deadlift. 1 foot behind the other, butt goes back. If you guys are really struggling with this, do a 1-arm deadlift, 10 per side, putting it right down in the center of you. But again, butt back. Look how little bend in this knee I have. If you're really bending this knee a lot, it's not a hip hinge, it's a squat. The back leg, really light on it. My back is nice and straight, right? I'm not rounded. That's where the pushing your butt back at the same rate your torso goes down. If you struggle here, check your hamstring mobility, check that protocol under correctives. And we gotta work on our hip hinging. One of the most important things we're gonna do, you need to be able to pick things up correctly because your risk of injury is gonna go up dramatically in the real world when you go to move a heavy box or pick up your kid from the ground when they're screaming, they don't wanna leave the park. 7. I'm not a father yet, but I do see those moments happen and I chuckle, not because I wanna see the world burn and I enjoy seeing them have a moment of suffering, just because, you know, I imagine that's probably what every parent goes through. I got 2 nieces, they're 6 and 8. They're very good. Very rarely do I see those moments, but once in a while I do. And I do kind of laugh for my sister. You gotta have some tough skin in those moments. Lower back down. Deep breaths. These core exercises are a perfect way, again, for your heart rate to come down after what we just did. But make sure that lower back is down. You should not feel this in your lower back. If you do, stay here for the remainder until you watch me finish, whatever you need to do. But we need to isolate our core only. And 10 and 10. Let's flip over. Let's keep this band on. We're doing really good on time. We got 7 minutes left. Okay. Knee comes up nice and slow. Again, do not let your lower back arch. Deep breaths. Almost there, almost there. This is a tough one here. You work isometrically, you get to work your upper body, your chest and your shoulders from holding this position. You're working your hip flexors with this band. You're working your core. There is a lot going on there. Okay, you know what? I got heavier weights here. I need to step up and do some harder stuff here. So I'm gonna hold a heavier weight to my chest. Again, as you guys start to do these workouts, you start to see how good of an investment this is. Invest in a heavier weight after you feel like you've progressed and you've gotten stronger. Reward yourself. Instead of taking yourself out for drinks to celebrate doing well, buy yourself some new weights. Continue to upgrade your home gym so you can keep working out, taking care of yourself. Switch feet. Deep breaths. Getting harder here, I'm sweating. Almost there. Oh, last 2, make sure those hips are opening up, those knees aren't collapsing in, feet are flat on the floor, your heels aren't lifting up. Okay, split stance. Push that butt back. Big stretch here. Think of driving through my heel and pulling my hips forward from that. I'm not thinking of lifting my torso up. It's more of pushing into the ground to push my hips forward. That'll help you activate more hamstring and glute, which is the main priority here. Stop on the ground completely. If you need to raise the kettlebell up because you find that you're rounding just for today, we're gonna work on our mobility. Put a yoga block under you. Stop on the yoga block or stop where you feel like you're starting to round. Perfect form is the most important thing. From there, we'll address making things harder. Again, stop here if you feel like you can't maintain good positioning throughout it. Another 10. It's a great way to work on a little bit of stability and balance. I get to stretch out my bottom back foot because I'm in this flexion of my toes. If it's uncomfortable on your toes, watch the toe flexion protocol video. Under correctives. Dead bug's my favorite. Us laying face up here is a nice little breather. After both of those kettlebell exercises, this is good, we need this. And again, the goal is how much can we get done in 20 minutes? So we try to pair these exercises so when one muscle fatigues, we can move on to the next. And mark down how many rounds you get done and how many reps of the last exercise you finished up on when the clock struck 20 minutes. Because then we're gonna try to beat this another time. Or maybe we have better form, or maybe we do a little more weight, or a thicker band, whatever it is. We gotta get better and better every week. Keep setting new challenges. Almost there. Good. Okay, let's finish this round up. And then I think we got time to try to finish one more round. Push up. Slow, I'm not rushing these. A lot of people do mountain climbers super fast. They turn it into a conditioning exercise. This is gonna get your heart rate up. I'm not worried about that. I just really wanna focus on working your core. And again, resisting this urge. Do not go into extension of your lower back. Tuck your pelvis. If you don't know how to do that, you gotta do cat-cows and practice that ability. 2 more. 9, 10, 10. Ooh, burning. All right, let's keep it moving, not slowing down. We got our kettlebell. Pick this up with good form. Hold it here to my chest. Open up those hips, deep breath. Again, slight turn of the torso is good. 6, I'm being lazy. I gotta hold this to my chest better. Happens to all of us. Lapse of judgment. Hold this way now. Again, staggered squats. This is for us to have fun in our programming. Not everything has to be our traditional heavy, perfect lift as far as what's the norm of how we perform things. Again, there are times when our feet aren't going to be symmetrical. We might have a little bit of rotation having to happen in our hips. It's a great way to practice that. Okay, split stance deadlift. Butt back, stop, squeeze butt and belly. At the top, it's really important, squeeze your butt, squeeze your belly. Pause, strong. 3 more. All right. Last one. Switch sides. Whew. You know I'm tired when I'm quiet because that never happens. Yep. 4. Keep it going. 5. Ooh, almost there. 3 more. Make sure those shoulder blades are back. Putting their upper back in a good position. 10. Ooh, how much time we got? 30 seconds. Finish out these dead bugs. Come on. Let's keep working. Lower back down. Get those limbs close to the ground. 4, 5, 6, almost there. 4, 7. Woo, and that's it, guys. There's our 20 minutes. So I'm gonna mark down, I was on my 4th round, I believe, and I got to the dead bugs. I did 7 on each side. So I'd write that down, and then next week, I try to beat that, whatever it may be. Maybe I don't take a rest, which you took this time, whatever it is. But I appreciate you guys for being here. You just torched your lower body and your core so efficiently. So again, congratulations for getting this done. I'm proud of you. Let's keep working hard and keep getting better. Just watch what you're eating. Make sure it's not too calorically dense. Make sure you're getting your workouts in. You're going through all ranges of motion, working on stability of joints, you know, cardiovascular health, whatever it is. Most importantly too, don't take this shit too serious. Have some fun. Okay, guys?